At a press briefing with South Carolina Senator Lindsey, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster blasted the Biden administration over the Inflation Reduction Act. McMaster first slammed lockdown measures during the pandemic and touted that his state, quote, followed common sense. The South Carolina Republican then turned his ire to the Inflation Reduction Act, characterizing the legislation as dangerous. Democratic lawmakers have touted the legislation as a solution to combat 40-year high inflation. Republicans, including McMaster, have argued that the act won't actually help bring down prices. On Sunday, all 50 Senate Democrats voted for the bill, and all 50 Republicans voted against it, with Vice President Kamala Harris, as president of the Senate, casting the tie-breaking vote.
Right, we appreciate you fighting this, as you always have, on misdirected, ill-conceived legislation and acts, executive and as well as legislative, and also appreciate Tim Scott's work as well. But everything Senator Graham said is right. We have been battling the Biden administration and with success during the pandemic. As you know, we did not close down like they did in other states. We used common sense. We followed the Constitution, which says if you take somebody's property, you have to compensate them for it. And to shut down a business without just cause it could be proven in court is a taking. So we didn't do it, and that we followed common sense. As a result, South Carolina today is thriving, while other states that took the wrong road, that followed the lead of President Biden and others, are suffering dramatically. But we were successful in court. We were successful in battling the executive orders that were requiring vaccinations that people didn't want. There's no justification, no authority in the Constitution for the President of the United States to tell a citizen they have to get a vaccination, whether it's good for them or not. It doesn't make any difference. But we fought all those things. We fought school closures. We supported our businesses, and South Carolina has had a remarkable 2 years, although other parts of the country are suffering. But now comes this, and not only are we fighting executive orders, but now it's turned to legislation in the Congress, and this is a tough battle. This is not something that'll typically be fought in the courts. This is going to have to be fought right now in the House, and that's why we're here today, to rally support, to rally understanding of the danger that this legislation poses to the entire country. We right now have a $30.59 trillion national debt. What is that? That means every year when the federal government borrows more money than it brings in, it creates a deficit. And you add up those deficits over the years and you get the national debt. The national debt now is $30.59 trillion. I don't think we can even think that big. This is going to add to it. Now, the administration is saying, and the Democrats in the Senate are saying, well, it's going to be paid for, it's going to cut inflation and all that. That is the same rhetoric that we've been hearing for year after year from the people on the left. And what has it gotten us? It has gotten us a $30.59 trillion national debt, which means it is not paid for. It does not cut inflation. It does not create business. It does not spur the economy. It does exactly the opposite, and that's your proof. But just in South Carolina, we're booming. State government is in the best fiscal shape ever. I wish we could say this about the national government, Senator. We have the largest budget surplus, a $2 billion surplus on what is ordinarily an $8 or $9 billion state budget. We have a $2 billion surplus. Our businesses did so well. The largest rainy day reserve, the lowest debt ever in the history of the state. That's because we're doing it right. More South Carolinians are working than ever before. More are coming, more jobs are coming. We never closed during COVID. We used our heads. We fought to keep the classrooms open, and we are cutting taxes. We've cut income taxes on everyone. We've eliminated income taxes on military retirement pay, and we want to eliminate it on law officers as well. We're giving $1 billion back to the taxpayers. We're funding the police. We're raising their pay. providing them with more resources. We've outlawed sanctuary cities. We sent the National Guard troops to the southern border. I wish the Biden administration would hire that many people and send them to the southern border. We put school resource officers, armed officers in every school, reforming how the state's public education is funded. And we're giving millions of dollars for scholarships for our people for the technical colleges. That is the way to do it. Cutting taxes, supporting business. And what this bill does is just the opposite. And Senator, we were able to withstand the executive orders and those misconceived actions by the Biden administration. But now this will be federal law. This is dangerous. It's dangerous. There's never a good time to raise taxes. Raising taxes, we are taxed enough. We are taxed enough. What we need to do is spend the money on the right things. This is going in the wrong direction, and I've tried to understand the way the people on the left think. I just don't understand it. It flies in the face of common sense. And if we are not able to convince others around the country, those in the Congress, as well as in our governors, I think 22 of us have written a letter to the president on this. Senator Brian Kemp, Governor Kemp of Georgia, and I headed that effort up, and there'll be more. We're doing everything we can as governors and as people in our states, but we appreciate the work that you and Senator Scott and others in leadership are doing. But it's like Ronald Reagan used to say, there they go again. It's just the same thing every time. When we go learn, it brings to mind the song, you might remember it, it came out in the 70s by The Who. It says, well, what are you going to do? It says, go get down on my knees and pray we won't get fooled again. Well, I hope we don't get fooled again this time. I hope we can fight this, because this poses a serious threat to not only to the country, but in South Carolina, where we have survived the onslaught of bad ideas and misdirection out of Washington. We have survived and are thriving, and this is going to be a tough battle.